Welcome to another session by Kimji KTM Muscat Runners. Before Corona, we were guiding you how to run outside. After Corona, we help you to run inside your home. We also assisted you in your diet and nutrition requirements. And today, we are here to help you to run your life without many hurdles in this lockdown period. For that, we have a clinical psychologist from Pune. He is also a counselor guiding children from 9th standard to 12th standard for their most suitable career selection through psychometric assessment and personal online guidance. So if you have children who are studying in any of these classes, you know whom to contact. Today, help me welcome Dr. Vishal Sangale to take forward.
Thank you. Thank you, RK. It's been a pleasure this evening that I was able to make it to you all, inspired runners. And this opportunity that you've given me to address maybe some of the very best minds in Muscat to understand the power of resilience, adaptability, and relationships in the challenging times. I thank the KTM Muscat Runners group and also Radhakrishnan to make it possible for today evening. Friends, it's very important that we understand certain very important aspects of the challenging times that you're all facing. In addition to that, some of the important aspects of how we build up our resilience, our adaptability, and then also help not only yourselves, but also your family, your children, your friends, in making sure that they're able to sail through this, unfortunate times and find the best of the capabilities and real self within you. To start with, I'll make sure that how we'll be progressing in this entire session. There will be close to 2 or 3 different aspects that we'll be looking at. First of all, we'll be talking about the power of resilience. And for those who are not aware of this term or maybe not able to understand in detail, I'll break the concept in a very simplistic way to make you more understandable. And then we'll look into the more specific aspect of adaptability, how you build your adaptability. Post this, we'll also look into the details of how you channelize your relationship with your kids, with your family members, how to make best use of their energy, their talent, their resources, and make sure that you again rise up with good strength post your this lockdown or whatever you call it in terms of the crisis. So let's understand the balancing act. What is actually happening and how are we reacting to it? It's a very typical anecdote that people give always, but I'm going to put it in a very different example. Let's understand, because you all are runners, I'll give you an example from sports arena. In the hot summer of 1981 at the Wimbledon court, there was a very famous event happening, a famous match happening. And one of the players, John McEnroe, he, did a very splendid service. And he thought it was to the ace of it. The umpire shouted out, foul. This player started with an argument or maybe a simple conversation with the umpire. And when he approached the umpire, he was understanding why did he give the services out? Till this, everything was okay. Everything was going normal. And suddenly something blew up the situation. John abruptly started looking threat with the decision of the umpire, and he started a very sharp argument with anger, and he was very angry, and he shouted and yelled at the umpire and saying, what on the ground made you understand that this was a out? In fact, everybody in the stadium is looking at this service as in. And this led to a very crisis like situation, and rest of the thing is history. You can see it in the video on YouTube. What went wrong? What went wrong with John? What happened actually? This normal looking match turned out to be aggressive and out of control. Now this balance is to be understood. Let us dig a little deeper into the neuroscience of this, neuroscience of emotions. And then when we disintegrate entire facts, you'll come to know what is happening with you and how are you reacting to each situation. So friends, what happened with John was his triggering of emotions led to the reaction that was disproportionate to the situation that he was facing. And what made this possible was his overpowering of emotions. In a usual case scenario, you always give thoughtful responses. But this time, this player, under the feet of emotion, under the heat of emotions, that is anger, bursted out. I'm going to share my screen with you to show you what happened actually. If you're looking at your screen, you'll see this picture, a simplistic picture of your brain. In this, you have a series of events happening marked from 1 to 6. Look at the first event, the sensory data sent to the thalamus. Thalamus is a part of your brain which is usually in the midbrain, which is harbored in the limbic system. Now, what is limbic system? It's also your emotional brain. Don't get burdened with these heavy words. Just understand the limbic system is your emotional brain, and there is a thinking brain, which is the cortex. You look at the top of the brain, where the blue arrow is pointed. You see the sensory data going to the thalamus. Then the second event happening, data sent to the amygdala. Now, what is amygdala? Amygdala is one of the most important organs. Since your ages, it has been pursuing threats. It has been looking out to the situations which are, not so good for your carrying. So it is always pursuing every event from the perspective of threat. So the data is sent to amygdala, it gets alert. Now a small data is sent to the cortex. What happens normally is a thoughtful reaction should come out. But the amygdala, if it does a quick threat assessment and does not send the data to the cortex, as is seen in the fifth event, amygdala blocks slow thinking. Then the sixth event happens, and that is unthoughtful response. This unthoughtful response is on the basis of emotions and not rational thinking, which is a part of your cortex, the prefrontal cortex, which is a very good instrument of logical, rational, sophisticated thinking. Now let's see how this player would have reacted differently. In a very simplistic way, you must understand that this balancing of your emotions and thoughts leads to the foundations of your resilience and adaptability. In that context, what is the best ally of your prefrontal cortex, which is the thoughtful instrument or most sophisticated part of your thinking? There are two allies that work in hand with them. One, oxygen. Yes, you heard it right. It's oxygen. And second, it's your labeling of emotions. You would want to understand through an exercise. We are going to understand through an exercise. How do you do that? If you have to put out thoughtful response, say for in the situation that you're going through, which creates a sense of frustration, creates a sense of apprehension, anxiety, or fear. How do you handle this situation with your internal dialogue? And believe me, the practice of this will lead you to more adaptable in the future. So what do? Do a simple exercise. I would want everybody to understand this. Do a simple exercise. Your breathing helps you to channelize your mind. In a simplistic word, your mind and your vital force, that is your prana, are at the equal level. If you balance one, the other one is also balanced. So the exercise of breathing, in other words, you call it as pranayama or controlled breathing, helps you to navigate through this situation of crisis. A simple deep breathing when you find that you are restless, when you find that you're not able to have control of your rational brain or rational thinking, deep breathe, exhale, and then try to label the emotion that you're feeling. Without labeling the emotion, you won't be able to find a right thinking pattern. We'll understand further why it is important to label your emotion. If you mislabel or if you misunderstood your emotion, then it's very difficult for you to rise above it. So for that reason, you need to see that you are able to label it. Now, we'll see how the exercise of like labeling emotions help you. It's about your decision. So for example, take an example while you're going to an airport. You happen to book a flight where you have to reach out to the airport and go to an important family function that evening. And suddenly you came to know that the flight was cancelled due to some reason, and you go into some kind of agony. You go into some kind of topsy-turvy. And what you do is you go and start arguing with the officials in the airport. In that frenzied moment, you miss out very important things. You go back home, you're not able to sleep. You say that everything was planned very efficiently, and suddenly this flight was cancelled. I have to go home. You're into a state of restlessness. You're not able to sleep, and then the entire weekend of yours is spoiled. Consider a second person who was traveling with you, was also to go to the airport, maybe for some function again, and his reaction is completely different. While he finds that he's not able to have control over the cancellation of the flight, he does not end up blaming. Although feeling the same kind of emotions, he finds it is out of control of his to regulate or to cancel or to carry on with the flight schedule. So what he does is he waits there, again finds the another flight maybe few hours later, books it, waits at the airport, spends some time at the airport, and then again start with his daily routine with the same eagerness and urge to reach out to the function. Now these two apparently different reactions made by these two people are very important from your perspective. You must have the choice to decide what is in your control and what is not in your control. Your recovery from setbacks is important, and small processes may help you to build your habits behavior in that direction. A simple example that we all have been going through sometime is ruminations. Rumination is constantly thinking negative in a successive channel. We always are in a state of, mental scarcity, finding threats coming to us, finding that this is not happening good with me, this is happening bad with me, I'm falling short of this, I'm falling short of that. And then you have this successive chain reaction coming up of negative thinking. What do you do? What do you do to stop it? The best part is, while you find that this negative thinking is happening because this circuitry, this pathway is built, you have to break this pathway, you have to short circuit this and build a new pathway. While doing that, there are different perspectives, there are different methods to do it. One of the good methods of doing it is having a small dialogue with the permanent, with the concepts of permanence and impermanence. Like everything in and around you is impermanent. Nothing is going to stay. Like this crisis, it is not going to stay. It is going to float away. This too shall pass. Giving you this sense of optimism, thousands and thousands of research papers have always demonstrated this positive outlook not only makes you more adaptable, but also enhances your performance. That's different perspective to this. Could be like external versus internal things. Now, always blaming yourself for things not happening right with you is entirely the internal thing. You don't have to always blame yourself. While there's a second thing that is external thing, that blaming situations for everything that is going wrong with you. You have to find a very optimum balance with this. There are things that you can control, there are things that you cannot control. So find a middle way, find a middle path to adjust. And this also will need practice. So let's do a practice here. Let's do an exercise. Uh, Before going to the exercise, which is a 5-minute exercise, we'll understand how to take control of the situation at the first. There is this classic theory of 3 R's, usually talked into emotional intelligence or something. These 3 R's are recognition, resilience, and regulation. Keep in mind, I repeat again, recognition, resilience, and regulation. What is recognition? Recognition is understanding your body's physiological stress response. That is to say, you understand what is happening in your body, what kind of symptoms it is giving out. Your body is always talking to you. Mind you, listen to it. While you're listening to it, you must also cognize that what kind of response is coming out. This is recognition. The second thing is resilience. Resilience is how quickly you recover from a stressful event or a trigger. Friends, we are all humans, and we definitely have some kind of stress, and we fall or succumb to the stress. Everybody does. Not a single person will say that I do not, if he's saying that I do not find any stress coming to me, he's lying. There is a stress. But the most important thing is how quickly you are able to get out of it. That is the key. Your emotion, whatever it is, you must be able to get out of it. Nothing stays. As I said earlier, everything is impermanent. So the best way is how quickly you are able to recover from the stressful event or a trigger. That is resilience. The third thing that comes to you is regulation. Regulation is how the body and mind work together to manage an emotional reaction. Interesting, no? You manage the reaction. It's a play. You regulate, and this regulation is very important. Let's do the exercise now. If you've understood the 3R concept, let's do an exercise. Now, this exercise you may end up doing yourself right now. I'm gonna tell you the process. Home, while you are there every day, practice this 5-minute exercise for yourself. And name of the exercise, I'll tell you. Name it like telltale sign. Telltale signs is like telling a tale, telling a story. So we are naming it as telltale signs of stress. So it's a 5-minute exercise that you're going to do. Take a mobile, put a timer, put a 3-minute timer first of all. When you set a 3-minute time, find a place where you are alone. Nobody's there, not your kids, no wife, no husband. You're alone. Very solitude. You should be alone. While you're alone, do one thing is find a good place to sit straight, take a back support, support, no problem. You can sit with, erect back somebody said Sukhasan here. So sit in a Sukhasan position. And you must start recognizing. For the recognition, first steps, recognition. Do one thing is close your fist gently and put it on your thighs. While you close your fist gently, start breathing slowly in and then exhale slowly. While you inhale, take a good deep breath, and while exhalation, try to press your fist and release tighter. Try to press it tighter and release while exhalation. Do this for 3 minutes. And when 3 minutes are done, spend the rest of the 2 minutes understanding what you recognized. What happened to your body? What was happening to your body? What came to you? Were there aches and pains? Were there certain things that were happening in your body which you were not able to earlier recognize? Was something stretched? Was some muscle in pain? Understand these things. Now, this exercise, if you do it for next, week or so, you'll slowly start adopting to recognition phase, to understand what is happening in your body. And then the next step comes in is of resilience. As I've said earlier, you have to disown the concept, the understanding of scarcity. Scarcity is looking at the things that you are not possession of, you are in not possession of. Something is missing, a perpetual threat, a perpetual understanding that nothing is with me, I am falling short of things. Now, how to do it? Yours is a small understanding, a bias, a outlook kind of thing. There are two types of biases. One is a negative bias, always finding fault in things, always finding challenges around you, always looking at the things which are falling short. Every time you go around, you'll find now things are deficient with. While this circuit is developed for a long period of time, it's difficult for you to break. So what to do? How to break the circuit? How to develop a positive outlook? How to develop a positive thing, a thought which is more optimistic? A simple exercise of gratitude. Finding what is with you and being thankful about it. Look at yourself. You've got everything to be happy. You've got everything to be more optimistic. There's nothing that is falling short. Every day you wake up in the morning, see the bright sunlight, see the other aspect that hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people are not able to have the life that you're having. You may also wonder that people sleep without food every night and you're getting food. I don't say that at the cost of these people, but think about what you're getting, and this is enough for you to stay happy. This is enough for you to stay optimistic. In the words of Rabindranath Tagore, it's like you are it's like a bird. It's been hopeful. It's like a bird which sings when the dawn is still dark. It's not able to see the light, but it's hopeful about that the sun will rise. It's gonna rise. So this has been feeling of gratefulness. I've talked two things to you today. One, a small breathing exercise which will help you to balance your mind in terms of your emotional. Tag your emotions, label them, understand what it is. Unless you understand it, it's very difficult for you to come out of it. First thing. Second, the exercise of gratitude, feeling grateful about things, be grateful about things, think about good side. And this is not just blinding yourself to the unforeseen challenges that you're going through. No, I'm not saying that. You'll come across challenges, and I don't say that only looking at the positive side of it. You are not looking at the risks or challenges that actually are there. No. Let me give an example. It's very simple example. If you are, say, it's like this, if you're going in a cave which is dark, which has nothing in it in terms of no evidence of light and anything, you'll always need a torch or a headlight to go in, right? So while you put on your headlight and enter the cave, your path will illuminate. You'll see in front of you, wherever you turn your head, you'll see the path. This, it will help you to focus on where you go, right? And this is self-awareness. In other words, look at the path where you're going. Look at from the perspective of self-awareness. Once you're aware, now you'll discover things, right? You'll find that something will come out of the cave every time. And if you find, for example, a bear is hibernating in that cave, bear, I mean to say a bhalu, and see suddenly something will happen. Now you'll be in a panic. You'll want to go out of the cave, run, like, because it's a huge animal there. Then this animal will, eat out you or something. You'll feel like that. So what you do is you suddenly come to know about, like, no, it's not a bear. It's something different. It's a stone. And you realize, you calm down. This realization is very important. First of all, if it was a bear, you must have run out. That is a very, very rational thinking. That's a very sound reaction. You must run out when there is a bear. But if it's not a bear, you must not go into a fear, flight, or freeze mode. You must think rationally and take your prefrontal cortex the control. These two exercises I believe will help you to sail the state of adaptability, in a state of crisis, and become more adaptable. I would want you to ask questions on this, and then we'll go to the next segment about your kids, about your relationships. So if anybody has questions, you may come up with questions here, and I would be able to answer it. Someone has put out yeah, I can see here. You can put queries here for doctor to answer after the session. Yeah. Before you put on the queries, I would also ponder upon the channelization of your kids, your energy of your kids. So this happens. So the first part here was relating to how to sail the challenging situations. I told you 2 tools for it. Now I'm going to tell you a tool for your kids, how to channelize their energy. You must have been wondering, like, these kids are at home, the schools are off, and maybe some things are happening which you're not able to find because you're all together in this home for you have no experience of staying together for so long period. For someone it is like a forced holiday. For some people it's like in a forced jail or something, and this cage of yours is in your mind, and you are able to see everybody every day and night, looking their faces. So what to do, how to channelize this thing? Best part is I'm going to focus with the kids first, and we'll come to questions that you'll come across. So your kids have a very natural tendency to play. They'll have a natural tendency to quit. Not to focus for their studies, not to sit for the studies, and they'll enjoy this as a summer vacation. Some schools already have spoken about this to declare this as summer vacation. Some schools have started with their online classes and everything, but still they are at home, they're with you. How to channelize these things? Mind you, there are simple tools to do that. The earlier ones we talked about was about coming out of your negative focus. Same, the contextual format or frame remains the same. Here we are using the process of auto suggestions, like talking always good about things around you, talking always good about people around you. You must be amazed to listen to this. Your body cells have a natural tendency to have good relations with people around you. They emit a very strong kind of social circuitry where they will be into affinity with the other person. But if you start emitting negative thoughts about the other person, there'll be a confusion amongst the cell, and they'll say what this person will want actually, like, I want to talk to the other person. The cell will say they'll want to talk to the other person, they'll want to make sure that I have a good relation with the other person, but you're throwing out through your emotions some kind of indifference to the other person. Then the cells go into confusion. What you need to do is emit a sense of affection, compassion, empathy towards the other person. This happens very effectively with your kids. You have to have a very standard, you know, pattern of designing your sentences while talking to your kids. First thing, one, talk in affirmation. That is in positive sentences. Do not use the words like not, never, or negative adjectives while talking to them. This will help you to build a very positive reinforcement. Do not change the tone of your voice as if you're angry, as if you're sad, or if you have to instruct something. Keep it in a very consistent tone. The third thing is talk in present tense. Do not give a frame of reference of past or future. Talking present tense will lead you to best manage the possibilities of having a good rapport. So this we call it as running commentary. We talk to them in a very positive sense, in affirmation, and in present tense. So if you have to get some things done from your kids, talk with respect, talk with utmost dignity, as if they are another individual seeking for that kind of individuality. When you do that, you'll be able to have more effective and more compliant response from your kids. This is one thing. Second, while you'll find that some kids may not have the habit of, like, falling into some kind of routine or discipline, or some kind of structured way of living in at home, because they'll find that discipline is at school, it is not at home. What do you do is, there's a simple method with younger kids lesser than 12 years or 14 years old. You can do it with them. This is called a sleep talk. Sleep talk is a measure of while the kids go asleep, in the first part of sleep, when the rapid eye movements happen, the dream state of the sleep, you can place one hand on the forehead of the kid and the other hand on the chest of the kid, very, very affectionately, and talk to them as I've said earlier, with two rules, in affirmation and in present tense, with the results that you want to achieve from your kids. For example, maintaining the discipline, finding that he is feeding himself nutritiously, following the sleep pattern, sleep habit, very, in conjuncture with what you've set up. All these things, the habits, sleep, food, or maybe your daily disciplinary actions, will fall in line if you practice this sleep talk for at least, like, week or two. While getting your, this practice of sleep talk with your kids, do not raise such sentences which you would want to do and you would want your kids to comply with, and they are not, they should be benefiting your kid, but not, with your vested interest. You must not keep your personal interest going into the development of the kid. It's very important to focus and keep in the center the interest of the kid and the good prospect of the kid. As parents, you have a vicarious responsibility towards them, so you may decide some certain things for them. As far as their careers are concerned, now this happens with the younger kid, how to channelize their, behavior. Look at the kids which are 14 years and above. They're worried about their career, their grades, their 10th grades, their 12th grades, their career in their future, what kind of education they're going to have. It's very important to understand their interests and abilities. Moreover, this interest pertain to the vocational interests. And the second thing is their abilities, their aptitude. It's very also important to make sure that you channelize or develop the aptitude of the kids in a specific way. Most of you must have gone through a small assessment that we did, was psychometric assessment. I'm not going to talk about more about it, but that is one of the effective ways of knowing your abilities, your interest. And hence, I will encourage you to talk to your kid with an efficient dialogue, with a very friendly dialogue, they will be able to share their aspirations, their dreams, their goals. If they have not set their goals, talk to them and also get a very specific insight into what they're planning for their future. If they've not started planning, get to a counselor. Make sure that you are engaging with their goal setting, with their career plan. I hope this and more will help you to reset the balance of you with your kids. Now, talking about the specific relationship, with your family members, it's important that uh, you respect each other's individuality to the best. If you find that each other's individuality is respected, their space is provided, this phase of yours is going to be one of the most encouraging and what do you say, memorable phase in your life, provided you find new things that you would want to understand of your partner, of your maybe brother, of your sister, of your parents. Think about, for example, how do you understand your family? Till now, you must have not got time to make some description about your family. What does your family mean to you? Talk to yourself. What does it mean to you? It must have meant something. Define it. This is a small exercise. While you define it, you'll develop an urge, an affinity closer towards your family members. The small exercise of defining what your family members mean to you, what your brother means to you, what your father means to you, what your wife means to you. Find, define it. When you define it, you'll find that yes, this is more closer to me. The relationship will only grow stronger and stronger with this. I'm open for the questions now. We are almost 40 minutes since the session started. So anybody wants to ask some questions, go ahead. Yes, there's a questions from Sri Ramana. I go through both the reaction and response situations intermittently. Sometimes I'm able to respond like a second person in the airport. Example, while on many occasions I react to the first person in the example. Okay. Is 3R the method to be adopted in bringing consistency to shift from reaction to response mode? Very thoughtful question. Thank you, Sri Raman. Yes, 3R is a very effective method to shift your focus from reaction to response. It's like, I'll tell you, it's a simple thing. Once you start as recognizing things, resilience and regulation becomes effective. The best part is confronting your emotions, looking at what you're facing. So recognition is very important. I believe, Sri Raman, that is one of the best methods to do it. Yes. Anything else? Thank you. Thank you, Sri Raman. And I believe most of you are going through this challenging phase. The best part is you will be able to see that success comes to you when you practice things. You build a new circuitry around you. Yes, sir, I'm interested to become psychologist. Please guide. Someone from, okay, there's a privately shared message. I don't know the name of the person. I'll definitely be able to guide you to be a psychologist. I would just want to know what you're doing right now. And may I also know your name? You're doing nursing. Great. So yeah, you're Archana. Archana is doing nursing and she wants to be a psychologist. So you are into a bachelor's program of nursing? Yes. So if you're doing BSc or GNM or something, uh, I would encourage you to go for, you're in a BSc, great. So there's a program offered by Indira Gandhi National Open University, which is MA into clinical psychology, which is 2 years program, efficiently done through a correspondence with an examination and verbatim report submission. I believe that suits your best into you. You may explore the IGNOU's website, the admissions happens twice in a year, and they have a good intake, and they have a good syllabus methods to train a person into clinical psychology. So best wishes, you can do that. Or if you have to do a regular program, it's very effective to go to a regular program as well. So you can definitely apply for universities. If you're in India, if you're in you can have state-run universities offering master's program into clinical psychology. Archana, I hope we'll be able to also connect on this more one-to-one basis, because this falls into the career guidance realm. Just Deepak Shivankar sir has asked a question: are children able to understand their interest in their teens, or it may take much longer after experience? So Deepak sir, it's important that we start understanding our kids from as early as, when they're into their early education, that is elementary school. Although kids may not know, kids may have a waxing and waning type of reaction while they're considering their uh, interest, because something may pop up at their middle ages into their school, or maybe through their teens. Interest always change. They do not find themselves fixated all through your life. They change. What we must understand is, while you're choosing your career, what is more relatively permanent way of leading a life? Three things you have to consider. One, while you're finding a vocational type of interest, one, you are able to find satisfaction in that job. Second, you have to make like livelihood out of that job. And third, you must find a dignity of labor into it. While kids may not understand this, but our effort should be, as parents, should be to make them aware, because they spend most of their time in their career, in their entire life, looking at spending time in making livelihood. So they may start uh, you know early in recognizing their interest. And yes, teenage is one of the most efficient or effective time that they must start building their career into. Yes, what is the best method? See, Raman has asked, what is the best method to ensure that our parents' desire do not overpower the children's desire? Yes. Okay, so parents have aspirations for their kids, they have dreams for their kids. They may want to, for their kids to become an engineer or a doctor, or maybe a pilot, maybe something. How do we ensure that we do not reinforce our own desires over our kids? The best way is to listen to your kids. When you listen to your kids, and with an open mind, if they have aspirations, lacking abilities, foster their abilities, have role in development of their abilities. But best thing you can do is listen to your kids. Do not say that you do not understand anything. That is the most fundamental mistake parents make. They say he is young, he does not understand, he's not seen the world. So I'm not gonna, ask him for his opinion. No, don't do that mistake. Listen to your kids. Yes, someone said working from home and managing home is a complex situation. That we are now, and very stressful. Expectations are high at workplace and home. How do we manage this? As I said, there are two outlooks. One is a positive outlook, other is negative outlook, or negative bias, you can say. We all know that situation is into challenging times. The crises are prevailing. We all know that the world over it's troubling. As I said, some things are not in our control. Identify things that are in your control. And I believe when you understand what things are in your control, you work on your strengths, on your control, on things that you are able to channelize, you'll find not only the performance changes, but you're more adaptable to the situation. You're more, compliant. You're more in synchronization with what is happening, to be able to exhibit the best of your capabilities. In that condition, I'll tell you, stress is gonna happen. You need stress to perform. That is called as eustress. You need stress to function. You don't have to go into distress. This stress is alarming and it's hazardous. For that, I have already told, practice the breathing exercises, practice gratitude building exercises, practice something uh, the outlook which is positive, build circuitry which is more positive towards looking at things. Your perception depends on what memories you carry in your hippocampus. Hippocampus is a small part of your limbic brain, limbic system. It stores all your memory. If your past experiences are not good, it takes a frame of reference from the past experience to build upon the perception of the future or present. Do not allow that. Have good experiences. Look at the brighter side of the things. Yes. I hope that answers your question. Someone here is Dr. Wonderful session. It happens that most of the time we feel that our reaction to the situation outside and inside our home has gone out of control, and try not to repeat it. But next time when it comes across a similar scenario, we again go out of the control. How do we change our thinking process to correct ourselves and not repeat it? This reminds me of a story. I often, play out this story while giving this answer to this type of question. So, small story again. A person one always goes through a jungle to his work from his village every day. It's a dense jungle. He used to pass that through that village every day. And one fine day, when he's going through his routine or the regular path, there happens to a lion chasing him. A lion chasing a person is horrible, right? It's a scary thing. So he finds that his life is threatened. So he runs, and to best of his ability, his breath is out of his control, and he then finds a tree, climbs up the tree. The lion is not able to climb the tree. He says, "Bach gaye, I am saved." So he comes down, the line passes, he goes to the work, comes back home. Some days pass away. He starts going to the job regularly. One fine day, again, a dog starts chasing that person. And while the dog starts chasing, he's giving out the same reaction as if the lion was chasing him. It starts running out of the breath to the fullest of the capacity, climbing up the tree, finding that the dog is not able to climb the tree. Dog goes away, the man comes down and he's okay, I've saved my life. What is the difference? The difference is the dog was gonna kill him. The lion was. The lion was a think of the past. While the dog was chasing him, he had a frame of reference of that dog, of that lion, and he ran out of breath only to save. This is the frame of reference. You have to change that. Every situation is different. Every day is different. You have to face it with a different perspective. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhakar. I hope, Pradeep, that helps your question. Now, someone, Anand, is asking if an 18-year-old child will still not able to choose his career or further studies, how can we help him? We can definitely help these kids, yes. So no time is late in choosing the career, mind you. Earlier, the better. Later, don't worry. People come to us for second career choice. They're at the age of 35, 40. They find they have not chosen the right career. They get insights into choosing their career at that age. So that's the thing. No age is late. It is always when you realize that is the right time, start. Yes. So let me ponder upon 2 or 3 important things. Someone asked me, yes, our services, what do we do? Yeah, so I am a clinical psychologist, and my colleague is a pediatrician. We started this, Brainberg in 2009. So my colleague, Dr. Ruta Savarkar, who initiated this entire, Brainberg through experience of looking into the preventive care of oneself. We built it upon from one-to-one through mass trainings to a platform which offers services to 4 areas. One, your mental health. Second, assessments for corporates and industries, making sure that they're able to understand their skills into their personalities and culture fitness areas. helping corporates to hire, to retain, and to manage their talent. The third area is for kids from age group of 7 to 19 years, making them to guide, encouraging their emotional intelligence, finding their career guidance, offering career guidance for them, helping their parents to navigate through the challenges of parenting. And the fourth thing that we do is a program for kids of 8 to 18 years, which is a very very specific one-to-one contact program called Synapse. Apart from that, we are engaged in a daily clinics in our OPD setting. So this is what we do. Someone asked, where is your clinic? Okay, our clinic is in Pune, at Shivaji Nagar, and yes, we do have services relating to physical and mental health offered there. Okay. Yes, thank you, Srikanth. So, more questions? I'm happy. I hope this has been working for you, everybody. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So it is a trust and security factor in us parents that prevent us from listening to our kids in terms of what they want. Is that right, Doctor? I would say, in a way, you must trust your kids. They are individuals. See, a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old or a 12-year-old, they are all individuals. They are like, see, if a early childhood kid is a miniature reflection of their teenage, the skills are not deficient anytime. I'll tell you, a 2-year-old has the ability to walk. He's not able to cross the streets, although. Why? The judgment is difficult. Same happens with a teenager who is 18-year-old, having all the skill sets to navigate through the crisis of the world, but failing only because the judgment is difficult. The judgment, until unless they find their own judgment are right and maybe into the correctness, righteousness, you are the carrier of that responsibility, the vicarious responsibility. While doing that, just be unbiased, just listen to them, have good conversation with them. That will help you all through the time. Yes. Thanks for your time. Spend your valuable time. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Please share how to reach to at user. Okay, you can reach me through your group president Radhakrishnan. He'll be facilitating if you want to reach out to me. These regular meditation sessions are helpful to improve approach day-to-day life. Believe me, if you're doing meditation, whatever level, whatever stage, they do not only directly impact your concentration or focus. The most important thing is they alter your traits. They make sure that your circumspective development happens through your being, and the effect can be seen sooner or later in your actions. So definitely meditation helps. Regular meditation helps. What are the coping mechanisms for empty nest parents? Okay, interesting questions. Although you know this term, very nice, Manjula. So emptiness syndrome is a syndrome. For the unaware, I'm going to tell you what is emptiness syndrome. So emptiness syndrome is a stage of life during 45 and 50 years of old for parents, where kids have grown up enough to take on their responsibility on their own shoulders. For example, for a female, she is into her menopausal age, and the husband is still working, and he is engaging at all levels with efficiency in his work, and the female finds staying alone at home. It's as good as, like, from a nest, the younger birds have flown away. She's alone. That's emptiness syndrome. So what do you do that? How do you do that? This is a stage of life. It's not different from any stage of life. It has got its pros and cons. It has got it, as you've seen, it's an empty nest, but every empty things can be filled up with something. So while you have to fill your empty nest, Just find things that are right to fill in it. I would encourage you to cultivate a sense of uh, possession that you've got already. For example, if you're looking at things which are from the, I've lost things, my kids are on their own, and my husband is doing good with himself. No, you're there. You still have to be there. You're there to take care of the nest. And I'll believe that you fill your life with hobbies, with effective, thinking, labeling the things that we've just talked. You'll be able to find things happening good around you. First thing, and engage. Real-time engagement is necessary. So engage with things, however trivial they may be. The engagement that you'll find with your surroundings and circumstances will not let you feel empty. So I believe that is the only way that most effectively fosters your fulfillment. I hope I've answered you, Manjula. Yes, thank you.
See, in this scenario, social distancing is okay, but yeah, but yeah, our teenagers normally keep a social distancing from us once they cross 18. How to break the deadlock? Because the fellow who was up to 18, he was behind us, Papa, Mummy, and Karke, and after that, 18 or 19 years, they keep a social distancing. That is how to break the deadlock. Social distancing is advised in the current scenario, but how to break that? Because we expect them to share all the details previously, but now it's missing. How to break the deadlock?
Okay, you've gotten a very good syllogism here. Keeping the social distancing with your, understanding the growth of your child through, past teenagers. Good. So let me tell you, social distancing is not really social distancing, it's physical distancing. You must change the term from social distancing to physical distancing. Because we're here engaging on a social connectivity right now. I'm talking to close to members of your group, which are like, we are socially connected. So one, we must be physically distancing, not socially distancing. Second, to answer your question, secrecy is everybody loves secrecy.
Okay.
Everybody wants to keep their own secrets. There is no denial to this. Although more, a teenager, a younger man will always want to keep his secrets abreast to him, not reveal to his parents the first time. He will always reveal it to his friends, to his close ones who are not his parents. The meaning here is we have to be the friends of our kids. You will find this information firsthand coming from your kid only and only you fostered the relationship of friendship with your kids. If you have not, if you find that there is some kind of distancing that has happened, believe me, a simple act of expression of your love, creating a sense of social connection that yes, I care for you, we are there for you. There is a trust building thing. Trust does not build over a 1 day or 2 day or 3 day. It takes time. First thing to build trust is demonstrate you know the attitude within first. A parent should, so kids imitate, everybody imitates. Kids imitate their parents the most. If you reveal everything, if you reveal to your kids your sincere intentions, your sincere feelings for kids, they will reciprocate. And that is the key towards it. Start with yourself. You'll find that things will start falling in line. Sooner or later, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, the kids will start talking to you because they'll feel the kind of security within you. Why do they trust their friends? Because they know that they feel secure with their friends. Similarly, if you they tell their parents, they'll find that they'll take an undue advantage of they'll enforce restrictions. They'll not make sure that they're understanding their kids better. Don't do that.
Okay. Understood.
Yes.
Understood. Yeah. Because we are poor in expressing our emotions. I understand. I agree with that.
You
We
have to
Indians.
express. You don't have to restrict. Emotions are like, beautiful. They are there.
Yeah. Okay. Understood. Thank you. Thanks for your reply.
Thank you, sir.
We will try to implement that.
Yes.
Thank you, doctor. That was A wonderful session. Thank you so much for spending this much time with us.
Thank you,
And
sir.
if anybody has any questions, we have a few more minutes. You can unmute yourself and speak. Because now it is almost 1 hour. We'll be closing soon.
Yeah. In fact, I enjoyed answering some of the questions. They're very nice, insightful.
Yeah. If anybody wants to contact doctor, then you can send a personal message to me.
Hello, doctor. It's been very, you put everything in a simple form here. Like you talked about satisfaction, livelihood, and the dignity of labor. The very basic stuff. But we complicate, I guess, due to our over-ambitious needs or comparisons. Why does this thing keep happening? I mean, these are such a simple thing that we need so much to lead a healthy life, happy life. But why do you think we complicate our life by over processing or overthinking these things?
So let's put it this way. There's one basic urge for humans, everybody. It's to know. It's to know more. Okay, so everybody will want to know things. If their things are hidden from them, they'll want to know it. You hide something from your kid, they'll want to know it, however young he or she is. So this knowing, the inquisitiveness, the curiosity is key to human mind. They will want to know things. Now, while knowing things, there is one more thing that comes to us is, it's, in the words of one of the famous authors, in his book, something relating to the philosophy, he said, Lord Francis Bacon said, the truth we mortal needs, as blessed to make and keep, was slightly covered over, but did not bury deep. So what we do is, we dig deep for the truth. The truth was only covered. We mortals, the truth we need was on the surface. We start digging the soil and cover the truth with the soil, going deeper into the trench to find where is the truth, whereas it was on the surface. Just scratch the surface and find the truth. The difference between the truth, knowing and unknowing, is just a thin film that is clouding your eye. As I said, Lord Francis Bacon put it very nice. The truth we mortals needs is to bless to make and keep was slightly covered over but did not bury deep. We follow this dictum that just rough up the surface, find that you are able to look through, you're there. Don't make it complicated. And moreover, I can tell you one important thing. Simplicity comes, easily. But people don't respect simplicity. People find complex things and, things more intricate, intrigue human mind. And hence they camouflage it into some kind of complex things to make it more, because then the knowing aspect comes into it. People will want to know what is behind it. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Our reading suggestion to read this stressful time. Yes, definitely. Read self-help books. Everybody, it's encouraging. Read at least 2 or 3 books, if not more. I'll definitely encourage reading. Readers, make leaders. Be sure about it. Yes.
I think there are no more questions, it seems.
Okay.
Once again, thank you so much, friends, for attending this session. And thank you so much, Doctor, once again.
Thank
and
you.
I'm sure
Thank you very much.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, doctor.
Thank